We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung đến đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hờ Đi Sa Miao San Pu Tô Chế. Nam mô Ta Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya La Ha Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jian wen de shou chi, yuan jie ru lai zhen shi yi. Our Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Huineng, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good new advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨六祖师父上人各位出家人各位善知识阿弥陀佛. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa lục tổ thường quý hóa quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sư thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 27th of August 2022. Right now it's 4:30 in Korea in the morning. I'm always amazed how they can get up this early on Sunday morning. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're all here. We are here to continue discussing the sixth Patriarch Sutra. I'm very happy you're here. The second time you're going through this because the first time I felt it was inadequate. First time was Chinese style. This time here is American style. You can call it love of the sixth Patriarch Sutra, the American style. Okay, so it is a lot more important you think, because this is the first time that we are unleashed and explain the sixth Patriarch Sutra purely uninfluenced by the Chinese and unrestrained, so that we can talk about anything about the certain teaching Dharma that the Chinese masters or the Asian masters never dare talked about before. Remember, we're Americans, so we are irreverent. So we can talk about anything we feel like. Okay? And actually, it may sound casual, but actually is of interest to a lot of beings who are interested in Chan at all, because I feel that the sixth Patriarch is the foremost teacher in certain teaching. it's important enough that it's recorded in a form of a sutra that is, if we look closely, from beginning to end, is all certain teaching. It's so cool, okay? So we're going to go to chapter 2 right now, slide 209. He's teaching us about how to realize this practical wisdom. And Chan and training is about helping you unfold this practical wisdom that you already possess. We can't stress this enough. You have it already. We just don't know how to use it. Okay? That's what's interesting about this. We all possess it, and we just don't know how to wield it. We don't know how to utilize this pearl, this priceless pearl we have called practical wisdom. Okay? Sutra text. Do not hide away the Orthodox Dharma and do not transmit it to those of different views and different practice who believe in other teachings, since it will harm them and ultimately be of no benefit.
不得逆其正法，若不同见同行，在别法中不得传付，损彼前人，究竟无益。
So these 210, do not hide away the Orthodox Dharma. This proper Dharma here are the Orthodox Dharma, another word, another name for it, 正法. It is what Mahayana is about. Hinayana cannot be called 正法, okay? Mahayana is called 正法 because that's the proper way, okay? That's proper way it should be practiced, proper way it should be explained, properly the way it should be transmitted. Okay? Transmitted the proper way of practice of wisdom so that you can realize your utmost potential without having to join the armed forces of America. Be all you can be, regardless. Okay? And so he says, do not hide away the Orthodox Dharma, meaning that this must be shared. Why does he say don't hide it away? It's because something of this is beneficial to the entire world. And it is therefore our responsibility to make it available to everyone. Not just the Chinese, not just the Vietnamese, not just the Korean, but everyone. Okay? And that's why we're going through this to make sure that the Dharma is properly understood, okay, and not be there and not understood at all, like right now is the case in the Chinese world. The Dharma is expressed in Chinese, and very few Chinese-speaking people understand what it really means. Why not? Because it takes the proper spiritual practice, the practice of these Dharma doors, in order for you to really understand beyond the words as expressed here. Okay? The Dharma, the Orthodox Dharma, must be practiced before it can be explained. Okay? And therefore, it should be made available. Don't hide it away. Make it available for everyone. Okay? It's supposed to be shared freely. When we do this, we not hide it away so that we are protecting our advantages, our superiority, but make it available. Why? Because it's meant to be shared. It's meant to be to benefit everyone, just like it benefited us. And once we got the benefits, we should share it freely. And that's our ideals. We want to reap the benefits of the proper Dharma, and then once you understand the benefits, we want to share them freely with everyone, instead of keeping it for ourselves, hoarding it so that we are the only one who have access to it. And that, to me, is what the Dharma is about. This is what I entreat upon you and disciples Master YongHua in the future to make the Dharma available freely. Not when I'm gone, I don't want you to lock up the Dharma here and say, I am the successor to the Master YongHua's Dharma, and therefore it's only for us. You cannot touch it. Give it freely, make it available. And they can do whatever they want. They can distort it, they do whatever. Okay? It's their choices, but it's available. That is a contrast. The fact that Master YongHua explained a lot Dharma in the past when he came to this country. It's in the form, it's been recorded in the form of a mountain of tapes at my master's temple, especially that big one up north. It's locked up, it's locked away, okay? And what it means is that it only proves that these people don't understand what the Dharma really is. That's why they have to lock it up. Here, the great teacher says, don't lock it up. You have to provide access to the Orthodox Dharma. It's your responsibility. It's explained to you, it's spoken to you so that you can share it. Now it's your responsibility to share it. Okay? Do not transmit it to those of different views and different practice who believe in all the teachings. Be careful, okay? It may be shared, but don't transmit it. What's the difference? Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. What's the difference?
Thank you for asking. Just exactly, I would ask myself. I was, okay, what's the difference between transmitting and sharing? Sharing is like sharing a meal. Here, it's something nice, you can eat it you like. Okay? I have something very nice called some Maine lobsters. Oh, okay, not good enough. How about Wagyu beef? Huh? Better? Huh? Okay. Excuse me, give me a minute to recompose myself. Okay, so you have something very nice, something wonderful. With that, open your heart and share it with others. Okay? Meaning, make it available. Don't force it down people's throats. Say, this is Wagyu beef. Son, eat it. And so that you won't regret it. No. Even you care for this person, you know it's a wonderful thing for them, you still cannot force it down their throat. That's called sharing. Just make it available. What about transmitting? Transmitting is different from sharing in a context that you transmit to someone to practice. With the transmission comes the expectation from you. When you transmit it to someone else, this person will put it into practice, apply it into their lives, cultivate it, if you will. That's why it's called transmission. Okay, it involves, number one, you expect them to put into good use for themselves, so that can really reap the real benefits from this Dharma you're giving to them. And once you give it pass on the transmission, then you expect them to also transmit it down the line. Because what happened is that they're bestowed this pleasure upon them. It's a wonderful treasure, priceless treasure that they need to understand what it is. And there behooves upon them, once they understand the nature of the treasures given to them, bestowed upon them, then they feel grateful enough to pass it on to the next generation for free, just like how they received it. I received the Dharma for free. Okay? I understood what it is. I see how wonderful it is, how it changed my life. I'm so proud to tell you who I am today is 180 degrees of what I used to be. You see this wonderful, nice person, okay? So it's the opposite, what I used to be. Nasty, evil, selfish, SOB. You know what I mean? Okay, so hard to believe, huh? Yeah, the Dharma changes you. I'm so proud to say that. Amen, hallelujah. And I got it because it was shared to me freely. Actually, more than shared. My teacher transmitted to me freely. He transmitted the Dharma to me when he first met with me, when I officially asked him to become a monk. He transmitted the Dharma to me, okay? And I will, in the future, explain that Dharma to you. I will transmit it to you as well. Okay? Yes, of course. And after you receive transmission, is that all? Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. I have some irreverent American questions,
yes,
if that's okay. You said the first step of transmission is you share the Dharma with somebody.
Yes.
Are there more steps?
No, you share is different from transmitting. It's because sharing is just making it available freely, okay, with no expectations. When you transmit, is actually you hoping that they will practice it. There's a hope because you feel that this person is worthy to receive this special Dharma here, and you really hope with the transmission that someday they put into good use. Sharing is, yeah, here, enjoy, okay? And there's no expectation whatsoever. There's no pressure at all when someone shares something with you. This is, I'm talking about transcendental world, where the world, in the regular world, when Ngô Yin shares something with you, okay, she has expectation for you to reciprocate. That's how the Chinese are. Okay, for us in a proper Orthodox Dharma world, we share freely. It's like a gift. No expectation whatsoever.
So the difference then, if I say back to you what I'm hearing, the difference is that sharing is given freely with no expectations. Transmission is giving with hope.
With a hope. And when you, that's correct. So do not hide away here. It says, share it freely. Don't have to be like worldly people say, I know the secret recipe, how to become rich, how to make money. And if I give it away, then you can be as good as I am, rich as I am. Then I'm not special anymore. I'm not better than you anymore. Sharing is that I want you to have all these good things, okay, freely. Share. It's just like sharing good food. You go to the restaurant, a nice restaurant, with your friend and family and relative, and you enjoy something. Oh, have you tried this? Please have a bite. Try it for yourself. Okay, that's called sharing. Okay, yes, too.
Master, when Master Shenhua came to the United States in the 60s, did he just know to come, or did the Americans ask him to find him in China to come here?
No, he was ordered to come because the Americans would not know. You pale-faced people would not know to ask him to come. That's why he came with his own money, and he patiently waited until the time was right for his disciples to gather around him and propagated the Dharma.
But
yes.
Was he ordered to come by his teacher or by the Buddha?
Not sure about whether his teacher ordered him to come, but I know that his mission was to bring the Chinese Dharma to the West. And in my humble opinion, Master Xu Yun wasn't high enough to have that kind of mission in mind. I think that mission was assigned to him by the patriarchs, his teachers, his real teachers. It turns out, for example, Master Xu Yun was not a good trainer. So that's why Master YongHua never underwent training under Master Xu Yun at all. Okay? It was never really Master Xu Yun's disciples. Because Master Xu Yun didn't know how to train his disciples at all. With all due respect, he's a great patriarch and everything, did a lot for Chan Dharma and Buddhism in general, but he's not good enough to train the next successor. So that's how you can tell. In Buddhism, we take care of ourselves, okay? Meaning that we don't need that, that Xu Yun to train Master YongHua. There's other people who stepped up and actually taught him, okay? Transmitted the Dharma to him. For example, he kept on talking about the fact at the age of 6 or 7, the sixth patriarch came and taught him the hands and eyes, gave him a couple of hands. Okay? He talked about that. And so you see, in Buddhism, it's a network, a group of people doing work together. The patriarch does certain things, and the sixth patriarch, the second American patriarch does a certain thing, Master Xu Yun does a certain things, the sixth patriarch does his own thing. So we all are working together towards this big picture called Dharma propagation in the West. So the answer to your question is, he probably was ordered to go to the West because he had no wisdom. The people who says, I brought you here, I trained you, I transmitted this hands and eyes Dharma to you so that you can have the tools to fulfill your mission. So yes, he was ordered to go. He didn't go by himself. He knew he's supposed to transmit the Dharma from China to the West. He didn't know how, what's supposed to happen. Okay? It's very Chinese. They say, you, in the future, will be responsible for transmitting the Dharma to the West, to the pale-faced people. Okay? If you don't mind my editing, okay, and my interpretation. And he said, but I don't speak this pale-faced language. He said, don't matter. I don't care. You figure it out. So what happened is, the funny thing is that he knew that he was supposed to transmit it to the English-speaking language, right? So what did he do? He went to Australia, for all places, and tried to teach kangaroos. Sorry, to try to teach to Australian pale faces, if you will, okay, and kangaroos. And he was there. And, it's funny to looking back, because it's funny because he didn't know what he was supposed to do either. So he went to a pale-faced country and, predominantly pale-faced country and kangaroos and tried to teach them. And he had no support either. So what did he do? He got a professor job, teaching job at a university in Australia. So he's there for a year. And he struggled. He really struggled a lot. He didn't take track, so he gave up. Okay, so he came back to Asia, and then somebody gave him a condo in Hong Kong. Okay, and that's when he started having some money, some assets. Okay, because until then, he gave away everything he had. He had $200. He gave it away to he spent it on on the low-life monks who asked him for money, okay, and those leeches. So he gave them away. But so a Hong Kong disciple his gave him a condo, which he couldn't give away. Okay, so he then when it's time for him to go to the United States, he sold the condo and got about $15,000, which he brought to the U.S. And that's what he used to live for 6 years. That's his story. Okay, and so it was, he was simply ordered to transmit the Dharma to the West, but he didn't have the details, so he figured it out himself. Eventually, he went to San Francisco, Chinatown. Okay? So yes, he was ordered, basically. Yeah. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. So I'm hearing you say that the sixth patriarch taught Great Master YongHua the hands and eyes, and then Great Master YongHua is able to teach the hands and eyes to other people.
He went up to the heavens later to get the rest of the hands and eyes.
Thank you. But my sense of it is that teaching and transmission are two different things, because and I don't know how to articulate it, but I'm hearing and I've felt from receiving transmission that when someone transmits to you and imbues a teaching with their hope, there's something profound happening. There's some substance that is a part of that process.
That's correct. When you transmit a Dharma, I say when you use the word transmit, number one, there's an expectation that you will practice it. For example, Master YongHua did not transmit the hands and eyes in Asia. He only transmitted the hands and eyes in United States. Okay? He didn't transmit in Asia at all. It's only he came here, after he came here, he said, I will give you a transmission of this treasure called hands and eyes. And so with that transmission, there's an expectation that we will practice it so that we can utilize it in the future. Okay? The hands and eyes are extremely useful for our kind of Dharma propagation practices, and we need it. So the transmission, again, goes back to the concept that you expected to practice it so that you can get some greater benefits from it. Okay? This is so beneficial for you, and the way you reap those benefits is through practicing it, through the practice. So far, so good. There's some expectation in the transmission. Just like Master Xu Yun, when he transmitted the Patriarch Chi from him to Master YongHua, the expectation that Master YongHua would carry on the torch and do certain things as a patriarch. Yes? So when the transmission, there's an expectations that you're supposed to fulfill, some responsibility you're supposed to fulfill. Okay? So, yes, so transmission is expectation from me to you. When I transmit something to you, I expect you to practice it, to utilize it, number one. Number two, is also with the transmission, is a promise from me to you as well. I said, when you practice something like this, I will protect you. I will help you in your practice. When you share, like you share some French fries. Actually, I found some great French fries in Pasadena. You guys are interested? It's kind of a fancy restaurant. Yeah. Do you remember Sarah and you? I love the French fries. It's just the numero uno. Yeah. You agree? It's fantastic. I've never had French fries like that before in my entire life. Now Guyina is awake. She said, French fries? But anyway, French fries for some reason. So how do we go to French fries again? So you share the French fries, okay? Because it's fun. When you share something good, it actually enhances the pleasure. Don't you think? Oh yeah, you're right, tastes so good. And somehow with that appreciation, it tastes better. You feel better. The person's joy becomes yours. That's why we share. There's some benefits in sharing the good things. Like yesterday, I shared some Tungbei. Tungbei, how do you translate Tungbei? Northeastern Chinese food. Tungbei, okay. Tung is eastern, Bei is north, okay, northeastern, okay. Northeast food that was cooked at the temple yesterday, okay. And we eating, and then all of a sudden, I saw Sean walking into the lunch. I said, "Oh, Sean!" And he's bringing this box of or whatever that he brought. And then I looks like mussels. Oh, we're gonna have a good meal today. And then I found out it's only grapes. How disappointing! But anyway, so I said, "Hey, lucky you. Have some northeastern Chinese food, because you will not find this. There is no northeastern Chinese restaurant in LA. Okay, so it's kind of a cool thing. So he said, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." And I said, "Bring some home for your mommy, your favorite mommy." He said, "But mommy is just outside. She just want to come in. That's all." I said, "Oh, bring her in." So she walked in there. Hu Yin walked in, and her face lit up. And she ate, and she went for refills and refills and refills. And that's what motivates her to come here today, because she feels obligated to cultivate now. And it's fun because the sharing, you see, don't hide away the Orthodox Dharma. I mean, and it's a nice thing. You should share it, okay? Don't be selfish. Keep it for yourself only. It's the same thing when you share. It makes people happy. That's all you do. You share some happiness. That's all. The transmission is that you have some expectations of people so that you expect them to get more benefits than they can imagine. And then all at the same time, in order for that to happen, you need to protect them. You need to assist them. Okay? Without they knowing it. And that's what happens in Buddhism, the transmission. We transmit the 3 refuges to you. We transmit the 5 precepts to you. We transmit the mantras to you. There is this implied promise that we will protect you and support you and protect you in your practice. That's what happens with the transmission. So far, so good. So that's why he says, do not transmit this, okay, to those with different views and different practice who believe in all the teachings. He says, for the non-Buddhist practitioners, okay, it's best you don't transmit it to them at all. Okay, including, for example, different views, okay, meaning that they don't believe in the same thing. So, for example, I transmitted the hands and eyes to you, okay? If you happen to see other Buddhists, for example, Hinayana Buddhists, who have different views, or the people who have Chinese Buddhism have different views, okay? You don't have to transmit this Dharma to them at all. Is that clear? That's all he says. Don't argue. Don't have to understand why. If you see the different, different persuasion, different beliefs, don't transmit it to them. That's all. Yes, 4.
Thank you, Master. Can you please clarify what when you refer to that protection or protection for and what?
Protection is that. I give a very simple example. I talked about it previously, that the Korean Sunim, Wantek Sunim, was hitting a woodfish during a ceremony a few weeks ago. And he was going off beat. Okay? Or he was chanting. Not someone was chanting, and they changed the pitch. I immediately recognized this has happened during, I think, one of the Dharma assemblies, like the Universal Door chapter for One Year Dharma Assembly. Okay, so it's a big deal for us. We are all gathered together. We're practicing this Dharma Door here. We believe in very important deal, big deal for us. And the ceremony people was obstructed from doing it properly. Okay, in spite of themselves. It's not they intended to do that, but they were obstructed from executing the Dharma properly. So what I did is I basically slapped the ghost on the face and said, "Get out of here. How dare you bother me when I'm practicing? This is a big deal for us." Okay, you may obstruct him and privately, but not in front of the big assembly here. You're offending me. You're only not obstructing him, you're also offending me. So how about I slap you in the face so that you know where you are and who's the boss here? Okay, so bang, and he recovered instantaneously. Without that, he would not have been able to conduct the ceremony properly. We would not have been able to practice the Dharma called conducting the ceremony. Is that clear? We transmitted that Dharma of doing ceremonies to him. And his obstructions, the nature of his obstruction is that they came and stopped him from doing it. In normal days, he's able to do it, but on that day, they came and stopped him from doing it. And I said, well, in normal days, I don't mind. But on the big days like that, you're not stopping him, but you're disrespectful to me and my people and my guests here. So I'm not going to tolerate it. So I slapped them immediately, instantaneously, okay? And they ran away, okay? So that's the kind of protection I'm talking about. Without protection, okay, you will not be able to practice at all. Another example is like we here receive protection from the police. We don't see them at all. Rarely do we see the police, okay, normally. But without them, with their implied presence, the fact they can come within half an hour, within 5-10 minutes in some cases, it's a deterrent for the bad elements to misbehave, okay? It's the same thing. The fact of the matter is that I know the Chinese don't talk about this, but I'm being more blunt nowadays. I said, hey, you should know that in order for you to be able to practice properly, you need a lot of protection. Protection from the police, protection from firemen, protection from the soldiers, and so forth. But more than that, you also need spiritual protection as well. We have some group of protectors called Dharma protectors. They're dragons, they're gods, they're Garudas, they're all sorts of spiritual, of the Eightfold Division, spiritual beings. And that's what providing protection for you. On top of it, you also have yours truly, who also will protect you by beating you up, to wake you up, okay? And so it's a lot more involved than you think. And so we all need a lot of protection. I wouldn't have not been able to get here where I am today without the initial protection. I had to receive protection because when I left my master's temples, when I officially stopped myself, took myself out, zero protection. Okay? And a bodhisattva stepped up and said, I will protect you. So he protected me. And that's how I got my start. And after I got my start, I look at the Bodhisattva and say, oh, now you need protection. So I protected him so that he can. So it's one hand washes the other, if you will. And that's what happens in Buddhism. Like we have a network of beings, bodhisattvas, and so forth, who are working together to protect you, cultivators. Excuse me, without which it's very difficult for you to practice. It's just very much like when the children are small, they need to be protected so that they have a chance to grow up, if you will. Okay? That's what happens in a spiritual life, spiritual cultivation. You're like babies and you need protection. You need guidance. Does it help? Is it clear? That's what they do for us. And the nature of protection and help is unspoken, is invisible. You're not supposed to know. You don't have to know. Just like a slap that goes, I was telling you because these people, they think they're so special. I'm here doing ceremony for you. I'm making sacrifices. I'm so cool. I said, you may be cool, but I'm cooler. Yes, for.
Thank you, Master. I'd like to share a story where when I was participating in Bochi last time.
Yes.
And I was doing the ceremony. I don't know which mantra we're reciting actually. And suddenly I felt kind of strangle feeling around my neck.
Yes.
So I thought I was just maybe going a little crazy due to lack of sleep.
Yeah.
But as the second passed by, I felt this strangle just got like more stronger and stronger.
Yes.
So where I couldn't breathe. So I was, I got scared because I had never felt that experience. So I got scared. So I just stood there and I didn't even ask for any help. I just stood there and I tried to recite the mantra, just opening my mouth and continue doing it. And I think it took me about maybe a couple minutes and then it kind of went away. But it was kind of a scary feeling. So I know I'm not.
When did it happen?
At the Dharma Treasury temple last time when I participated in Bochi.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
so is it around May time?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I know I'm not crazy because I never felt this.
Oh no, it's not. It's for real. They came to obstruct you.
So is it because I have low samadhi or level because I was so low, or is it due to my karma obstruction?
It's your karmic obstructions, and that's normal. The good news is that when you practice, when you recite Buddha's name, recite mantras, come to the temple to practice, and you run into trouble, then it's good because you have a chance to make progress faster. When you practice, this is not a secret, you're supposed to get into trouble because they will come and stop you. Okay? They're afraid that you'll be out of range. They cannot shoot at you anymore. That's why they have to stop you from making progress. And in what form? They prevent you from reciting. They encourage you not to come to the temple. They give you excuses not to come to the temple. They pull your spouse's strings and say, pick a fight with you when you're supposed to go to the temple together and so forth. So all those are obstructions. When you practice, okay, you run to those obstructions, and that's how you progress a lot quicker with our help. Without our help, you will fall off. This is the truth. This is why the people who left our temple, for example, okay, for whatever the reasons, they all have very good reasons to leave the temple. I look at them. They all because they lost the protection. Just like I lost the protection from Master YongHua when I left his temples. So someone else has to step up and protect me. Okay? The same thing. So what you guys don't realize is that you need so much protection from the police, from the soldiers, from the firemen, and so forth, okay, in order for you to be able to have some peace and be able to do what you do, live your life. We have a lot of protection. Same thing, for you to make progress in your spiritual path, you need a lot of protection, you need a lot of help, a lot more than you realize. That's why the transmission matters. You want to receive transmission. You don't want to simply pick it up from online materials and so forth and pick it up and read it. And what these people do on these mantras is that they practice these mantras. Obstructions come, they have no protection, they fall off. Or they veered in the wrong directions. It's a big deal in Buddhism, and yet no one talks about it because that's the nature of the practice of these bodhisattvas and mahasattvas who are helping us. I say, I'm helping you, but you don't need to know I'm helping you at all. I'm helping you, but I'm not helping you at all. I don't see me helping you. That's what I do. Okay? And so, in general, as a rule of thumb, when you practice, you're supposed to have some obstructions, get into trouble. And that's how you know you're in the right path. In contrast, if you practice and you go to a temple and week after week you say, oh, I feel so peaceful, I feel so happy, I'm so happy here, I'm so content here, there's no struggle whatsoever, it only means that you're regressing like hell. Okay, you need to struggle, you need to suffer in order to make progress. Okay, if you don't struggle at all, what does it mean? You're dying. That's all you're doing. That's what happens to ordinary people. They say, I'm fine, I'm healthy, I'm making money, I am enjoying myself. My life is so wonderful. What's wrong? You're dying. You're getting sicker and sicker. Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. Yes, we have to go through bipolar.
Yes.
Blessings, instructions, practice, and obstructions.
Yes. You have to go through the struggle. So that's why the Western way of practice, where I say, I come when I feel like it, I come because I like you and I'm doing you a favor, those people will not be able to make progress at all. Okay? You come to the temple with the attitude, I'm doing you a favor, then you don't need our help. Let me put it that way. You say, basically, come to the temple with the attitude, I'm here, I'm doing you a favor. So then how could I dare help you? Because you're helping me, remember? So you don't need my help at all. And those people tend to fall off. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. So with transmission, it's provided, number one, with a hope and an expectation that the person receiving it will make it a part of their daily lives, will practice it.
Take advantage of it. It's good for them.
Number two, transmission also includes the protection.
And the help.
And
not
the
just
help.
protection. You also receive help in resolving your obstructions. Protection alone means that you're dependent, like we're dependent on the police to come to our rescue every single time. Okay? That's called protection. Protect and serve, remember their motto? Okay? To protect and to serve, meaning that we totally depend on them, and therefore we need to continue to pay taxes. Okay? But the help is in order for you to no longer be dependent on us. Help you in order for you to rise above your dependency on us. That's the objective. Yes.
So then the transmission includes protection and help.
Yes.
So what I believe I heard you say earlier is the goal of transmitting to someone is they could transmit to someone else. So I'm inferring that means once the person receives enough help that they can become self-sufficient, then they can transmit to others?
They'll be asked eventually to transmit to others, but it's a specific request. Please transmit it. It's not automatic. You don't just receive transmission. Okay, I'm going to transmit to everyone else. I'm share all these good things. No, the transmission, remember, the transmission requires two things. Number one, you expect someone to benefit from it. You know, therefore you expect them to benefit from it. Number two, you're supposed to protect them. You cannot transmit to someone and say, okay, good luck, huh? Okay, I will see you next lifetime. I'm moving to Australia and be with kangaroos. Okay? No, when you transmit, you say, okay, I'll be around. I will help you until you're self-sufficient. Okay? And that's what happens to a lot of people. For example, the externalists, when they they receive transmission, and they say, okay, I have this wonderful Dharma called whatever, these mantras, whatever. Oh, let's say you go to Tibet and then you give you this Dharma to do this mantra, to do certain things. Okay? What happens is that this is the fact, unless you receive protection and aid, you will not be able to make progress, significant progress with these dharmas you transmitted to you. Why not? Because your own obstruction will come to stop you. The nature of obstruction, your own obstruction is that it's more than you can handle. That's why you need help. So be more humble in your spiritual practice. Don't come to the temple and say, hey, I'm doing you a favor. I'm coming to the temple because I'm doing you a favor. Yes, you're doing favors to losers. But for the people who actually are able to transmit the Dharma to you, you're not doing them any favors. You're bloodsuckers. But that's what they chose to do. It's not your fault. They transmit a thing to you. So, you should finish the job. Yes, too.
Master, what's an externalist? I know that's a Buddhist word, but what exactly does it mean?
Externalist is 外道. Externalist is someone who believes that your accomplishments can be achieved without focusing on your mind. In Buddhism, all the good things come about by burnishing your mind. If you ignore your mind, you will not get there. Okay, so for example, never mind about externalists. Let's talk about worldly knowledge. Yes? You go to college, to school to learn how to make money, make a living, and then eventually get better and make a fortune. Okay? So your process focuses on the accrual of wealth. Okay, money, 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 asset, asset, asset. Okay, that's outside of your mind. Whereas in Buddhism, our wealth resides in the mind, not on the temples, not on you. It's about my mind. Your mind. Not your wife's, not your girlfriend, not your daughter's. It's your mind. So our practice is measured on how well we polish our minds. What's another measure? Your samadhi level. In our world, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be short, you can be pale-faced, you can be yellow-faced, black-faced. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I look at you and say, what is your samadhi level? That's your stature right there. It's not something that the world people bestow upon you and say, you are the Prince Andrew. You princess so-and-so. Okay, those are worldly things. They are not important to us. What matters to us is what is your status in a hierarchy of the existence. Which samadhi level are you? That cannot be faked. That is something that's there for you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. That's why I can look at a kid and say, the substance is that of someone who is superior. Okay? I don't look at that because it's smaller, shorter, yellow face, and so forth. Look at the substance or the samadhi level. That's all that matters to us. Okay? And that's where your status really is. Because that's your substance, if you will. That's who you really are, not a title that someone bestows upon you. Okay? And so externalists are the people who says they measure their attainments and their pursuits are based on external things external to their mind. For in Buddhism, Mahayana, our spiritual practice resides on focusing on the mind, mind, and mind. And we measure everything by the purity of your mind. All right? Does it help? So what happened is that the non-Buddhists, especially even some Buddhists, they don't understand. That's why they focus on, for example, lots of monks and nuns focus on, I want to have build a big temple and have a lot of disciples. Sounds familiar? Okay? Or have a lot of money. I do a lot of charity work. I will sponsor, as a Buddhist monk, I will give money to build bridges, to build orphanages, to build hospitals and so forth. All those are external to your mind. And therefore, that spiritual practice is not quite Buddhist. For us, the purists, it says, it doesn't matter you have a temple or not. Doesn't matter you have a lot of disciples or money and so forth. Okay? What's in your mind? That sounds like a commercial. Apple Wallet. Okay? And that's what the problem with externalists. They are misguided. Okay, so that refers to the externalists here, this sentence. Do not transmit those different views. Okay, different views here refers to they don't believe in cause and effect. Different practice who practice the external path. They are attached to external things such as temples, money, cars, reputation, disciples, and so forth. And these people tend to believe in the non-Mahayana practices. Okay? It's not about the clothes you wear or what you call yourself, what you proclaim to be. It's about your mind. Okay? Right here, the little thing right here. That's what makes a difference, not external things. So externalists are the one who believe on external things, outside, external to your mind. The focus is away from the mind, external to the mind. So in other words, if you Buddhists learn about Buddhism and as part of your Buddhist practice, you focus on building temples, on external things, you also are an externalist. Okay? We're that brutal. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. I have a friend who, on the East Coast, decades ago, attended a Buddhist temple, and he shared with me the Buddhist temple would have them purchase like an item that they would focus their thoughts on. I can't remember what he called it. Like it might have been a Buddha statue or some kind of like token.
Yes.
And that item would become kind of like a symbol of their cultivation. I haven't seen that here, and it sounds to me like that's an externalist kind of practice.
No, we have similar things here. What are you talking about? Hey, how come I don't have this Discord thing here anymore? I cannot see people's face anymore. I'm an externalist. I need to see faces. Otherwise, I feel lost. Feel alone. What are the external things we have here at the temple? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but to me, those
The
things
New
are,
Age, for example, the New Age have crystals and wonderful things. Huh? But here we also have similar things. They're called? Relics. External things too.
but we don't hold relics while we cultivate and use that as the focus of us developing our samadhi power.
We could, but it's too slow for me. That's why I don't do it. You know, we could easily, for example, if you're interested, I'm not going to force it upon you, okay? I'm willing to make the relics available to you, depending on the type of relic. Some cost a little bit more than others. And you hold these relics as you practice, it's going to be a lot more helpful when you were to practice by yourself. It's a fact. And it's a kind of cool thing. So you start first, for example, with one type of relic, and then you make a little bit of progress. I will certify it for you. And then we move to the next level, and I will certify next level for you, and next level, okay? Would you like that?
No.
What do you mean? No.
Well, no, with all due respect, no. Let me tell you why. When I went to CTTB, they sold like the Shurangama mantra, and it's like on a little scroll, and it's on a little string that you can either wear on your wrist or you can wear around your neck. And when I was going through difficult times, I was like, oh, I'm going to wear this. This is going to help me.
Uh-huh.
But over time, I found it just became something else, another thing. And
What did it become?
An attachment. And I felt more liberated when I knew that I knew what the Shurangama mantra was, and it was inside of me, and I didn't need something to tell me what it was. I already had that.
Excellent. However, may I point out to you, there's a slight difference here. We're not asking you to hang on to the same relic. We increase the efficacy of the relics as you make progress. And I'll give Malcolm time to process this. He says, that sounds interesting. Yeah, you see? So in our practice, slightly different. In their practice, they give you something, you hang on for life. In our practice, we give you something and take it away and give you something better with a little bit increase of the monthly payment. We go into subscription base nowadays. Yes, too.
Master, so let's say you'd hold the relic, like a baby version of the relic, and it would grow, and then as it grows, you grow with it?
No. If it grows, I buy it back from you. So you make a profit.
My understanding is that Master is suggesting like a Disney bundle. Like you start out with the Disney Plus relic, and then for $2.99 you can get the Hulu relic, and then additional relics after that, or bigger relics for a more subscription-based
More
cost.
efficacious. It's not in the size. Don't be stuck on the size. Good things come in small packages. Okay? My point.
I appreciate the revenue model, Master.
Subscription, not revenue, please.
I appreciate
Subscription, like BMW now charges you for heated seats.
That's so ridiculous.
Can you imagine? Every month you want to freeze your buns, you have to subscribe to
The microtransaction, yeah.
Yeah, and all the luxury car manufacturers are doing that, I heard, okay? Mercedes and so forth. It's so cool, new ways to make more money. And this is, for us, it's slightly different because this is for a good cause. It's not for profit. It's for our future retirement.
I would have to say that I am in favor of expedience for people who want them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've wanted them at times.
We have a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still personally, for my own cultivation, would not want that.
How disappointing.
The reason why is because the reason I think I progress is because I have to face my own pains. I have to face my own obstructions under the protection of my good knowing advisor, thankfully. And if I didn't face that, if I had expedience, I wouldn't progress as well.
There are a lot of people in the world who says, just fix the problem for me. Don't bother me. Just fix it. Give it to me. Give me. I have a problem. Fix it. Don't bother me. Okay? That's why I call it subscription-based model. We subscribe to problem resolution. And my point, you may laugh at it, but I'm telling you that if you practice, you're supposed to have a lot of obstructions, a lot of problems. Okay? One problem is that what most people don't realize is being able to come to the temple regularly. It's very, very difficult because of your obstructions. See? Right there, right off the bat. It's not that easy to come to the temple. Okay? It's not easy for you to practice every day. Cross your legs every day. Recite hands and eyes every day. Recite Buddha's name every day. Look at that. How difficult it is. And all you have to do those things. Recite, practice every day. We recommend to you. Listen to Dharma. And when you can, come to the temple on weekend. You make progress. But you know, many of them come to the temple and they did all that, they made progress, and the obstructions came. They got upset at something and they quit. You see, it has so many forms of the obstructions, whether it's illness, whether it's afflictions, and so forth. Okay? And without, I'm repeat for you, without protection, good luck to you. I know that for a fact. Without protection, you will not be able to make it. You won't make it. It's not like the worldly things where I can figure it out. It's not something that you can figure out. Why not? Because your current level of lack of clarity in your head, you can't figure it out. You can't handle it. Yes, DTT question.
Yes, thank you, Master. I just wanted to clarify that I am the loser disciple that you keep referring to recently.
Which one?
But the one who's complaining about not making any progress.
Oh, you're the loser. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that loser. I have a lot of loser disciples. Those who left and those who still around, so many of them. Yeah, what's your point?
I just wanted to clarify. I'm sorry that the email very much, it just sounds like I'm complaining, but my intent wasn't to just complain, but more to bring up these stumbling blocks, these thoughts. I realize they're coming from the bipolar, but I just have trouble getting over them. Even though I try to say this is the thought of the bipolar, it still disturbs me, and then, so basically I still agree with it on some level, and so I'm not able to just let go. So anyways, the email was intended to ask...
so now you all know who the loser is, first of all. See how brutal we are. There's no place to hide, okay? You can try to hide all you want. Name another temple that's like as brutal as we are. Not only do I beat up on the ghosts, slap the ghost's face, beat them up, bleed them, maim them, but also my own disciples. Oh no, that's too sadistic. Yeah? So that's it? Okay, good luck to you. Where were we again? Are you done, or do you still have that bubble thing that's still popping up on the screen? Okay. Where were we again? Who believe in all the teachings? Who don't believe me, in other words? I'm having too much fun, guys. Okay. Since it will harm them and ultimately be of benefit. Okay? Because what kind of harm are they going to get? The biggest harm is that they will slander the Dharma. Number one. Number two, they slander the teacher. Not just the Dharma, also the teacher. And what they don't realize that, I'll give you an example, if you slander Master YongHua, you will not be able to encounter this Dharma for longer than you can ever imagine. And when you go and hide and disguise yourself, pretend to be a Russian spy, for example, okay, and take on new personality, new IDs, new identities, and so forth, okay, you know what? The network of the Dharma propagators, they know they will not touch you. That's how serious of a thing it is. Yes, two.
Thank you, Master. So to clarify, the proper Dharma that the sixth patriarch is referring to in this instance, is this the Wei Yang school? So someone who's not of that school should not be having the Wei Yang Dharma transmitted to them?
No, Wei Yang is later. and this Dharma here is a little bit higher than where you are. Okay? He's talking about Prajna Dharma. He's teaching about Prajna Dharma, in particular, not just any Prajna Dharma, but the sudden teaching of Prajna. Prajna Dharma in Buddhism has many ways to propagate, many ways to teach. He's talking about the sudden Dharma called Prajna that he's been teaching in this chapter number 2. He said, don't transmit to the others. Such people will be harmful to them and will be a benefit to these people. Such people are the ones that have different views. Okay, for example, different views. I clarify for you. He includes all these things. For example, Hinayana people. Okay, the views of the Dharma are different from ours. Different practice. Okay, in particular, the people who chase after external things. For example, people who come and learn our hands and eyes and hoping that they can see more. There are people who see things, right? During the dreams or during the meditation. Say, oh, this is so cool. I know when our practice is hands, so and forth, my eyes, those eyes become stronger. And that's externalist. We never do practice these things in order to gain something. We all do these things, the number 1, to build our samadhi. Number 2, open our practice wisdom. Number 3, eventually, when we're ready, use them as tools to help others, never to help ourselves. Never, ever. So these people who say, come to me, and I chuckle and say, I can see this, I can see that. Okay? What is that? It's externalist. I don't take them seriously. If you attach to it, you're in trouble. And who believe in all the teachings, in particular here, the teachings here refers to non-Mahayana teachings in the form of, you want to be blunt, low-level teachers. I'm very strict. I do not read low-level stuff. Okay? Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. I just have a question. Tibetan Buddhism that's also Mahayana, isn't it? Or is it different from what we are teaching? What you're teaching us?
In my opinion, they're not the same as we are. Okay, because I have yet to see a great teacher. I don't look at the words. I look at the person who teaches. That's why the Koreans are very dangerous. They go and they bow to you and they kowtow to you and they're very polite to you. But what they do is they look at your energy level. They say, oh, energy tempo is good. When I'm near the master, is strong. I feel better and so forth. And that's how one of the major ways they gauge you. Whereas you, Chinese people, you, Vietnamese people, are different. You go to the temple because you are oblivious to energy level. You only want your ego to be stroked. And that's why I call you losers. Okay? Yeah. So, in our world, samadhi cannot be faked. The samadhi is your substance, cannot be faked. You can have the most remarkable demeanor and air, but your samadhi betrays it all. Yes, Q&A.
Master, I had a question that when you say the Koreans look at the energy level, is that external as well, energy, self? And then when you start talking,
yes, it has some advantages, also disadvantages. Because of that cultural thing where they are smart enough so that they say this energy level here is very difficult to fake, okay? Because they saw great teachers like Master Sung Cho, which is energy level is very scary. Okay, he's a fourth ground bodhisattva. The level is so powerful, energy is so powerful compared to the non-Buddhist teachers. Okay, the non-Buddhist teachers can never reach that level. Okay, and that's why Master Sung Cho was able to keep the Tibetans away from Korea. Okay, his samadhi level is too strong. That's why the Tibetans don't have a chance in Korea at all, because he left behind him a lot of Sunims who are very, very strong as well. So they have no way of getting in. Okay? And so that's why the Koreans are, the majority of Korean Buddhists are very energy sensitive. Okay? Culturally, that's what they do. However, they also, with that, comes with weakness. That is, they're attached to energy level. What about those that they cannot sense energy? If your energy can be sensed, then your level is pretty low as far as we are concerned. Master Shenhua, for example, you see him, it's nothing whatsoever. What's there to be sensed? Okay? And therefore, the problem with the Koreans, because of that culture, that value system, the great teachers look at them and say, I send you my low-level disciples. Because that's all it takes to teach you, is that's what you're looking for. Okay? And so it has weaknesses, in that the teacher must reveal himself and herself. However, the great teachers, like I pointed out to you, Master Shenhua, you cannot see anything. That's how great he is. Actually, he looks rather plain and totally unimpressive. Okay, and that's their weakness. So the Koreans are good initially, but it causes problems for the Sunims, because the Sunims follow that model where they, I am the Sunim, you're supposed to respect me. Okay? Say, go for that, and therefore they cannot go higher than fourth ground. Yes, too.
Master, on behalf of the American people, I would like to thank you for that profound compliment.
Which compliment is that? I said a lot of wonderful things today.
Well, that great Master Shenhua came to America is the profound compliment.
Absolutely. He came to America not because he's recognized. He came to America because he saw that the Americans can reach very high, go very far, more than the Chinese. That's a fact. Great teachers never waste their time. So he saw it already. He said, the people here in America, pale face, red face, black face, yellow face. What else? What are the colors? Huh? Brown face? And what else? Okay? Whatever color face it is. All the people here, they have the potential to get very, very far. And this is so wrong when you people think that Americans is white. It's not. In California, American is Mexican, Hispanics. They're the majority now. Okay? Next comes white. Okay? The Asians are very small. They're not making enough babies. How do you get into politics and demographics and all these things? Isn't it fascinating how life is? Hey, look at that. She's walking now. Oh my God, she's back. Oh my God. Oh, wow. She looks good too. 8 months, she's out of action. Broke her legs while falling on the driveway. I don't know how you can break your legs while walking on the driveway. But it happens. 8 months, he's out of commission. Yeah, look at her now. Cái chân giờ đi được hay là cô xếp bằng được không?
Con xếp được nhưng mà cái bác sĩ dạy con theo thì cái bà bác sĩ là bà tập yoga đó bảo bây giờ con xếp kiết già đó thì chưa có được. Kêu bà dạy con ngồi giống yoga giống như các bạn ngồi cho nó quen á.
So now, so she says, I asked her, can you get in full lotus? He says, I can't because I'm not quite ready. So her physician taught her yoga, okay? And so that to help her become more flexible and help her eventually get back into full lotus. Yeah. And even though she doesn't understand Buddhism, she talks just like me. Me. He says to continue, and someday you'll be able to pull up and get back into full lotus, and so forth. Okay. Wow, look at that. The left leg. Yeah. Okay. So, look at that. Oh, look at how sexy it is. Take a photo. Huh? Take a photo. Okay, so what you do is do the yoga, and then you pull up the right leg. Hey, you pull up the right leg all the way up. No, the other one. Cái chân kia kéo tuốt vào trong luôn. Chân phải nó kéo tuốt vào trong luôn. Yeah, kéo. Pull it up all the way. Tới cái háng luôn. Okay? Yeah, một chân thôi. You bend one leg only. I know, you sit down. And then you pull it up like that. You pull it up real all the way up until it touches your body. Okay? And that's how you train. That will be better than yoga. I nothing against you, yoga teacher and your physician. No. I want you to pull all the way up. The right leg, not the left. Okay, sit down, pull it up. Sit on a chair, sit on a bench. Okay? Ngồi trên cái ghế đó, đừng có ngồi dưới đất. Ngồi trên ghế, ngồi bán già thôi. Bán già mà kéo tuốt lên cái háng luôn.
Con nghĩ ngồi bán già.
Wait, sit down. Now I'll teach her. Go ahead. Pull it up. Okay? More. Kéo lên luôn. Okay? I want you to sit for 10 hours a day. Like that. You will heal a lot faster. Yeah, no. All the way up. Kéo lên luôn. Okay. Kéo tuốt vào trong háng luôn. I don't care. Pull it up. And it's going to hurt like hell. That's okay. Okay? Ahung, explain to her later, okay? That's what I want her to do. It will be a lot better, faster than the yoga thing that your physician teaches you. Okay, let's continue. Where are we again? Yeah, Tibetans. So that's why the Tibetans, they have a hard time penetrating the Koreans because they cannot break through the shield of the Sungcho Sunims and the Korean Sunims. So they cannot compete against them. Okay, and that's why they cannot enter Korea. Okay, besides all the political whatever, it's not the main thing. The main thing is that they cannot mess with the Koreans because of the protection from the Sunims. But there's a weakness in that process because they're attached to it. That's why they cannot go higher than Sunims level. Sunims are still attached to protecting. Okay, there's no need to protect. I would let the Koreans, the Tibetan go in, and that's how the Koreans can learn faster. Because right now there are a lot of Koreans who says, "I wish we have Tibetan Buddhism in here. Okay, we're missing out on something." They don't realize that actually the Sunims are protecting them. And my attitude, what protection? You don't need protection. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. So picking up on your point that Great Master YongHua saw high potential in the people in the American continent.
Yes.
What quality did he identify that shows that potential? Is it something that we can know that helps us focus on that quality in ourselves?
No, something you know. It's his wisdom eyes who can recognize it. It's a skill he has. And not just him. It's just the fact that what happened, the truth be told, what happened is that the culture in China was on the decline. They chased after the Western values in terms of money, in terms of fame, in terms of profit, okay? And they forsake their core value, which is virtue, filiality, and so forth. And the young Chinese don't prize that anymore, okay? Whether they look for money, income, assets, and education, and so forth. Whereas the value system before is virtue, virtue, and virtue. Okay, because of that, the young generation, they lost track of their roots. They're tremendously very competent young Chinese, but because of the culture, they, just like I, forsook my roots, my Asian roots. I went after the French system. I'm guilty of the same thing. When I was younger, I went to a French high school and I said, this culture is far better than the Vietnamese culture. Okay? Whereas in the United States, the difference is that the Americans are much more open-minded. The Americans are much more dangerous in that they said, they are a lot more open-minded, so a lot of Americans would go for Tibetan Buddhism, would go for Zen, would go for Vietnamese, would go for and so forth. Many of them are from different ethnicity, Israelis, Italians, and so forth. The Americans are much more open-minded, and therefore, in general, okay, the absorption is broader in this country. Okay? However, never underestimate the Chinese. The Chinese have all these tremendous roots that's built from generation to generation. Same thing the Koreans. The Koreans may be a little bit lower level right now, but their teachers protected Korean Buddhism so well that overall, as ethnicity, as a country, their Buddhist roots are very, very strong. That's what I saw an opportunity as going there and activate these roots, okay? And take a step further, removing the limitations of the fourth ground Bodhisattva who's still attached, okay? And therefore, so that these people have a chance to grow, elevate to higher realms. Okay? Same thing with the Chinese. The Chinese have tremendous potential if they are convinced somehow not to forsake their heritage, their value system, what makes them special. Because what they aspire at right now is to be American. That's wrong. Okay? So there you have it. The Asians are stuck. They're enamored, just like I was, with the Western culture. So they forsake the profound and wonderful Asian heritage in the form of Mahayana. Okay? They drop that and they compete now with money, with fame, and with stocks and so forth, and EVs and so forth. Whereas the Americans has always been in a system where they adopt what works best for them. So there's a difference in culture. Okay, even though the Americans don't have the roots, okay, the heritage, but they're more open-minded, and therefore they can absorb faster. Because of that, what Master YongHua did, what Mahayana people did, is they sent a lot of Asians to United States, to the Western countries, to wait for the Dharma. So that's why when Master YongHua came to the United States, he had to wait for 6 years for those people to mature. See that? Their emissaries, those people were sent before. They're born in this country, okay? There were the Asians. They're from Asia. They're born in this country, and they became pale faces, and became yellow faces, became black faces, red faces, and so forth, because that's America. America is colorblind. Fundamentally, we're colorblind. Look at you. It's more yellow, it's more white. We're confused. Okay? You cannot make up our mind what is better, white or yellow. Sometimes white, sometimes yellow. Okay? So these people were sent from actually Asia to America already. Because the system in Asia is so restrictive, they prohibit the mind from developing. Whereas this country in the West, in particular our country, okay, we are a lot more open-minded. Anything goes. You define your path. That's what makes the American culture superior. Okay? Whatever works for you, the results will speak for themselves. Yes, too.
Master, in South Carolina, you're pretty much either black or white, and there is no Buddhism, there is no Mahayana, so it's just the way they see America is never leaving that area. So then...
Right. I am aware of that. That's why we are still concentrated on the West Coast and the East Coast.
It's just confusing.
I won't even see myself going to Texas or Florida. Okay, forget it. I ain't going there.
It's just like a different country compared to California.
Yes. Even northern, southern California is totally different. Totally different. Okay? So that's why you notice, and this is you cannot deny. You can talk all you want. The facts speak for themselves. Master Shenhua, what's his concentration? California, primarily Northern California. Southern California, he sort of said, "Good luck. I'm sending losers only down here." Okay? Any one of you is stupid enough or losers enough, you stick around here and wait for Master YongHua. He'll pull miracles off you. Okay? But those of you who, because I have no time, okay, I will focus on Northern California. That's where his disciples are. Okay? And that's how he started. And that's why now we're invading Northern California to bring those people to the next level. Okay, many are waiting, and many of them are disenchanted with that style of Chinese training. Many of them say, "But I want American. I don't want Chinese." Okay, we will never steal from a Chinese. You don't have to. We create, we invent, we innovate. Don't need to steal. Let them steal. Okay? We move forward. We don't look back. You take it from me, I have much more to offer. I'm endless. I innovate more. I create more. I have no fear. Okay? That's why you're better, because you don't need to. Okay? And so that's what happened. This is the Mahayana I'm proposing for you. It has no boundaries. Many of you have so tremendous potentials, okay? And if only you're willing to let go of your small-minded attachments, selfish attachments. And the sky is the limit, okay? So I'm announcing, for example, in Korea, I hope in Korea, I will be able to train someone there, a real Korean, who will be higher than fourth crown Bodhisattva. And then when I say higher, I'm not talking about fifth. Americans, we think big. Okay? And by the way, I give Master Z 3 more years, I pull him back to the United States so I can train him. You Koreans better hurry. I don't have a lot of time. I'm too old. I need to train him. Okay? He's making a lot of sacrifices protecting you. So work harder. But 3 years, that's all, maximum. He's going to be there for you. And then I pull him back. Enough sacrifices. He's getting old too. How old are you? Okay, so Koreans better step up. Both lay people and left phone people. I don't discriminate. Whoever can be trained, I will train. Hurry up! I'm thinking at least 7th. Not 4th, 7th. You hear? Why? Because from 4 to 5 is still not noticeable. 5 to 6 6 to 4 is still not noticeable. 7, that's when you begin to see the difference. That's when you begin to understand, appreciate Mahayana more than before. That's why just think of that one number, 7th. Hurry up. I don't have a whole lot of time. Okay, are we done? Okay, Master Z is so happy. Look how happy he is. He says, 3 more years, that's it. I'm going to have some real hamburgers. Can you realize Koreans have no real hamburgers and fries? Especially where Jewel Mountain Temple is. They have no hamburgers at all. Only Korean hamburgers, no American hamburgers. I don't know how Koreans can live without American hamburgers. Okay, but we're getting distracted. Okay, and next here it says to harm them ultimately and be no benefit to them. Harm them in the sense that they're harming themselves. They slander and they not respectful. That's why they're going to be harmed. Okay, if something's supposed to be hugely beneficial to them, they're getting nothing out of it. Like those losers who left. And guess what? They're harming themselves. They're getting no benefits whatsoever from them. Even the Chinese Mahayana. Zilch. And again, I'm warning you, okay? Once you commit these offenses, no good no advisor will touch you. No one. You'll be condemned to darkness. You'll be condemned to mediocrity. You'll be condemned to endless suffering for 212. Shall we learn something instead of gossiping? How come I spend 2 hours gossiping with you? Yes, 2. It's more gossiping.
Thank you, Master. On the previous slide, I feel as if Daniel were here, he would ask a question. So, on his behalf,
the girlfriend's here.
Oh, okay. Well, for Daniel, who's downstairs, thank you, Apple.
They know where each other is all the time. He's downstairs, she's upstairs. He's inside, she's outside. He's sitting, she's driving. What a beautiful love story.
A level of romanticism we can all aspire to.
How romantic, yes.
So the question on the slide asks, then how save Jesus?
Did I ask that?
I appreciate how it's posed. And I think it's worth a little bit of discussion or gossip about that.
Because he says, don't transmit this to those different views. Let's talk about Catholics. Her Catholic boyfriend in particular. Different views, different practice. Don't even sit in full lotus. Believe in all the teachings. Yes? Because these people, you're sharing, transmitting to them will only harm them and ultimately be a benefit to these people, to Daniel in particular. Yes?
Ultimately be of no benefit.
No benefit to Daniel whatsoever. So how on earth we forget about Daniel, okay? How on earth are we then going to save Jesus? Is the issue. Jesus is a good person. Unlike Daniel, Jesus is very special. I mean, we agree on that Jesus is special. So how are we going to save Jesus? We don't share it with him. I think that's my point. I remember I wrote this a long time ago, years ago, so how can I remember? I can't even remember what I said the last hour. So how do you propose we save Jesus?
So, thank you for asking it, Master. I'll take a stab. Christians have a saying, God helps those who help themselves. In this case, Jesus wouldn't believe the prajna wisdom Dharma that is being offered. So Jesus' best course would be to help himself and let his dad help him. It's not for us to meddle.
And again, for the sake of clarity, his dad is?
Oh, yeah. Well, I know him as the Jade Emperor, but Daniel would know him as God.
I see. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, 8. To the rescue.
Thank you, Master. Yeah, I don't think we have to save them. It's because we don't have the wisdom yet. But maybe when we are like higher levels, then we can have like experience, so we can help them in a way that they don't know they are being helped.
Okay, so the Colombian says, good luck to them. I can't handle my own life, okay? I won't pretend to try to help you. Okay, who else? Hey, I said 10 hours, the woman unbuckled already. What? Just one leg. You don't worry about the other leg. Okay? You can sit against the wall. It doesn't matter. Just bend your legs. Don't have to. Yeah, you lean against, because half lotus is not stable, so you can lean against the wall, lean against the chair, but pull it up high and for 10 hours. Yeah, forget about cooking, forget about anything. We need to heal your left knee quickly. That's what it takes. Okay, anyway, work up to 10 hours, okay? This woman here, she doesn't cross her legs, that's why. So, how are you going to save Jesus? Someone says, good luck to Jesus. Yes, 6.
Master, I heard somewhere saying that Lord Sakra listened to Buddha's Dharma, Shakyamuni Buddha, and certified first stage Arhat. So doesn't that mean Jesus is at least first stage Arhat already?
No. Actually, chakra is actually more advanced than that.
Jesus is not Lord Sakra.
No, Jesus is the son of chakra, according to, the pale-faced person. Go ahead, JMT. How are you going to save Jesus?
By rebirth plot.
Rebirth plot. Okay. Who said that? Who said rebirth plot? I want to know which Korean is that. Huh? I cannot see. It's hidden behind. Huh? Oh. XK or XF? Huh? Oh, what happened to Kong? We closed Kong? Everyone follows Master Z? Okay. Okay, by rebirth flag, send him to Amitabha Buddha. Okay, I see that. What about Q&A? How are we going to save Jesus?
A Di Đà Phật. Con không biết Chúa Giêsu là ngôi thứ mấy ở trong cái tầng trời. Nhưng mà cái Đức Chúa Trời đó dự cái hội pháp Bát Nhã Đức Phật giảng 22 năm á, thì Đức Chúa Trời có trên hội Bát Nhã. Thì nghĩ Chúa Giêsu cũng là một cái quyến thuộc đó thì cũng không có tệ đâu. Thì Đức Phật mới hỏi, nếu hỏi Đức Chúa Trời, nếu Như Lai cho ông kinh Bát Nhã, lựa chọn kinh Bát Nhã, giờ Xá Lợi ông chọn cái nào? Thì Đức Chúa Trời nói tôi lấy kinh Bát Nhã, vì kinh Bát Nhã sẽ tạo ra Phật, Xá Lợi không tạo ra Phật. Thì mình đừng có coi thường Chúa Giêsu, Đức Chúa Trời không biết Bát Nhã là sai rồi. Xin hết.
Emitofuo, Master, I actually don't know who is Jesus Christ. I don't know in which layer of the heaven he is in. However, the God, maybe one of his relatives as well, he attained to the prajna where Buddha spoke for 22 years. During that Dharma assembly, the Buddha asked him a question about whether you wanted to receive my relics or you want to receive the Patriarch Sutra. And he said he wanted to receive the Patriarch Sutra because this is the wisdom that I cannot be replaced, and it's not the external things. So I think that he has the wisdom himself. I'm sorry, I lost the last part.
Yeah, he's right in that the Christian God, the God or the Jade Emperor, they are actually, in fact, he's a bodhisattva. So he goes through this pretense where he's going through and learning a process and so forth. But actually, he's a bodhisattva. He's practicing the Dharma. And part of his practice is to become a god and take care of the human realm. And that's how he chose to do. He chose to do to fulfill his destiny and accrue blessings. So as such, when he brought his son, Jesus, to the world, I'm sure he has plans for Jesus. When you get to his level of the Christian God, I'm sure he's taking care of his sons already. So in a way, we don't have to worry about that. But in general, to help these people, we have very simple, a simple thing was suggested before. Send him to the Pure Land. Okay, that's the quickest expedient. You send him to the Pure Land and let Amitabha Buddha take care of him. Okay, or the other way is to give him a lot of blessings, Mahayana blessings. So that's how you help people, not just Jesus, but in general, the people that you want to help. You should consider giving them more and more Mahayana blessings. And the blessing will take care of them naturally. Yes, 6.
Master, I heard from our history of the Way Mountain Temple, the reason we got the Way Mountain Temple was we got a lot of help from Jesus Christ. So that means he already planted a lot of Mahayana blessing with Way Mountain Temple. And Master also, right? So Master owed him a lot. So he would definitely get help and benefit from Master YongHua's Dharma and Mahayana Dharma. Wouldn't that be the case?
No, absolutely not. I owe him nothing. Speak for yourself. How do you know I owe him anything at all? How dare you think I owe God anything? You sound like a Christian. You think we Buddhists will go and take things from the Christians and the Catholics? We're here to benefit them. not to take things from them. So I submit to you that he owes me. That's why I accept the temple. And he's so glad he gave me another one in San Francisco. But he's so cheap. He didn't give me 100%. He just gave me a break in the price, that's all. These people are so tightwads. If I were Buddhist, I would give the temple totally plus money to fix it up. See, it's so un-Buddhist. See, I'm telling you, if you're really Buddhist, you give me an entire temple and the cars, the red cars, and the everything that I need. Okay, then I owe you. If you don't, you owe me. Yes. N'importe quoi, French means I speak nonsense. Because she spoke nonsense. That's why I gave her nonsense back. 2.
Thank you, Master.
I got offended. You think I would go around taking things from you? Oh my God. That's what you think of me? Coming here to take things from Guyin? Look at the poor woman. Yes, 2.
Thank you, Master. I'm trying to remember. Maitreya Buddha is currently cultivating in the same
Tushita heaven, yes.
In the Tushita heavens. Is that the same heaven the Jade Emperor is in?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's higher level. It's two heavens away, 2 heavens higher. Jade Emperor is sort of lower. Okay, so Maitreya a little bit higher, much more advanced than the Jade Emperor.
Because my thinking was the same expedient you taught us one Dharma talk, is that Jesus could just go over to Tushita heavens and cultivate with Maitreya Buddha for a day, and then when God sends him back to earth, hopefully it's the same time that Maitreya Buddha's here and he becomes enlightened. Like that.
Maybe. It's something called obstructions. You have to make it to see Maitreya Buddha when he comes here. Meaning that once your karmic obstructions, your creditors know that you plan to go see Maitreya Buddha when he comes here, they will do everything in their power, they gang up together to stop you. You will not make it. Yes, too.
Master, I heard in Dharma, I don't know which one it was, but you mentioned about giving to the churches in a past life or something, and now that's why we have the church now and the DTT now. So
yeah,
that gave me a different mentality on that.
That's right. That's right. That's why that woman here, she's so confused. She thinks we here we could take from the church. Are you kidding me? I'm here to benefit the churches. You can be so wrong. We're not here to take from the Christians. We're here to give the Christians a chance. So in general, from that perspective, in order to help Jesus, the best deal still is to send him to the Pure Land. Okay? That's, if you ask me what's the best we have to offer to help Jesus, I'd say send him to the Pure Land. Yeah? That old woman.
Mô Phật và thầy, nghe cái này người xưa kể lại đó, Đức Chúa Trời đó, nó cái phước báo, nó tu không biết bao nhiêu, nó tu về cái phước báo lớn không thể tưởng tượng được. Mà nó Đức Chúa Trời đó, ngài đó tu đó, cái phước báo rất là lớn, mà ngài tu không có giải thoát. Đức Phật mình thì tu cái phương tiện là nó giải thoát, rồi Đức Chúa Trời đó không bao giờ giải thoát, mà cái phước báo nó rất là lớn. Mình thấy bây giờ mình ở Tây Phương ở đâu đó, mình thấy mấy người Mỹ đó, người nào người nấy cũng cao đẹp không à, nó cái phước báo quá là lớn đi. Cái này mình nghe ngày xưa kể lại cho mình nghe vậy đó, chứ mình không con đường Đức Phật là một đường, con đường của Đức gì nãy giờ nó quên, Đức Chúa Trời đó là một con đường. Bởi vì Đức Phật còn nói ngài đó cái phước báo rất là lớn. Tại ngài tu cái phước báo, rồi Đức Phật mình đó thì tu đã giải thoát. Hai con đường nó không có giống nhau. Mô Phật.
Emitofuo, Master, I know that I've heard this from my ancestor is this. They talk about the blessings of the two people. Once is Jesus Christ and once is the Buddha. So the God, he cultivate blessings. He has tremendous blessings, but his cultivation doesn't lead to liberation. The Buddha cultivate the skill and mean and expedient in order to attain liberation. He also have tremendous blessing as well. Therefore, the Westerner, if you look at them, they really beautiful and they really magnificent. So therefore, this is what I've heard from the old people is that the way of the Buddha is different from the way of the God. These two are different ways, therefore they're not the same.
Okay, it's yes or no. The main thing is that I want to tell you I'm running out of time, so I'm going to cut it short. The main thing is that the way of the practice of the Christian God is too slow. So he can make progress a lot faster if he were to come and practice at Way Mountain Temple. But since he can't, go to the Pure Land and give me more temples. 100%, not just a rebate. Damn it.